Hi there, my name's Miss McVitie and I'm going to talk to you about link questions in the higher RUAE paper. Learning intentions. We will learn how to answer link questions in the most effective manner. We will learn how to achieve full marks in the link questions. Success criteria. I can structure my answers effectively. I can understand what to look for and how to achieve full marks. The first thing we need to establish is what you're being asked. And in this type of question, you're being asked to identify how different words or phrases show a connection between what has been written. So the formula then. The word or expression, quote from the passage, links back to and summarise what you've read in your own words, which was explored in the previous paragraph/sentence. So this is the link back that you would do. And we also need to link forward. The word/expression, quote from the passage, introduces the idea of, which is explored in the next paragraph/sentence. Now, don't worry if you're thinking this formula looks quite complicated. It's actually really straightforward, and it'll become more obvious as to how it works when we look at the model answer over the next couple of slides. Our example. For context, Adrian Horton looks at how well women have done at this year's Grammy Awards. The cascade of performances and the success for black female artists glossed over a growing wave of criticism over the Grammys' opaque nomination process, alleged conflicts of interest, and years of appearing to snub black artistry. The Canadian artist known as The Weeknd, real name Abel Tesfaye, led an anti-Grammys chorus which included such artists as Zayn and Drake after his album After Hours, a critical and commercial smash containing the year's biggest song, Blinding Lights, was surprisingly shut out of nominations. In a statement to the New York Times last week, The Weeknd said he would boycott the awards from now on and direct his record label not to submit his music for future contention, citing the anonymous committees with final say on nominations. But the controversy mostly stayed outside the frame on Sunday, save a statement in the final 10 minutes from the interim Grammys president, Harvey Mason Jr., promising a renewed diversity effort and calling on artists to work with us, not against us. Instead, the 3.5-hour mega concert was about bringing us together like only music can, said the night's ebullient host, The Daily Show's Trevor Noah, and never forgetting what happened in 2020, but hope for what is to come. And our question is, look at lines 8 to 10. Explain the function of these lines in the development of the writer's argument. You should make close reference to the passage in your answer. And this is worth 2 marks. Just to mention, they won't actually use the word link in the question. So you must be careful to look out for the phrase, explain the function of these lines in the development of the writer's argument. That's what tells you it's a link. So if you want to try this one at home, pause your video for about 3 minutes and see what you come up with. And now we're about to go over the answer. Okay. The word controversy links back to the scandal over The Weeknd's lack of acknowledgement at the ceremony, which was explored in the previous paragraph. So that would get you your first mark, because the word controversy summarises what we read before. Your second mark comes from the word statement introduces the idea of the president of the Grammys and his remarks in the ceremony, which is explored in the next sentences. So hopefully, if you did this one at home, you got something similar. And if not, I'm hoping that it's clear to you where we're getting the marks from. So you're almost becoming a detective and looking for a word that gives us clues as to what we've just read. It summarises it in some way, and then summarises what we're about to go on to read. Okay, it's time for you to do some practice at home. On the following slides, you will see different link practice questions. You'll be given 1.5 minutes per mark to work on these. So in real terms, what that means is if it's a 2-mark question, you should pause the video and spend about 3 minutes working on this at home before looking at the answer. Let's give it a go. Question 1. Context. Hannah Jane Parkinson looks at her love for luxury hotels and why she likes them so much. Do I want classical music lightly playing from a vintage-style radio every time I cross the threshold to my room? Yes, it's no more than I deserve. Do I want a dressing gown arranged to look as though it were being worn by a hanger, as opposed to just, hanging on it? Yes. Am I excited to lounge around in a bar with a fantastic view, reading a book and knowing that when I'm done, I have no journey home? You bet. It isn't just the facilities, but the staff who draw me to indulge in these wallet-busting resets. People who work in hospitality have often become astute readers of the human condition. Much of the time, I feel as safe and comfortable with hotel staff as I would in, say, a hospital or with friends. You may well suffer the same affliction as me when staying in hotels for longer periods, which is to make friends with literally everyone who works there. And the question is, look at lines 6 to 7. Explain the function of these lines in the development of the writer's argument. You should make close reference to the passage in your answer. And this is worth 2 marks. So you should pause the video, time yourself, maybe get your phone out, or do it on your laptop or your computer, or even get a parent to time you. But around 3 minutes is how long this question should take for you to answer. The answer then. The word facilities links back to the range of different things on offer within luxury hotels, which was explored within the previous paragraph. That's your first mark. The word staff introduces the idea of how relaxed Parkinson feels around hotel employees, which she explores in the next few lines. And that would get you your second mark to take you up to 2. So what did you get for this question? If you got full marks, that's brilliant. And if you didn't, can you see where the marks come from? Remember to make a note of anything you've learned from this answer. Question 2. Context. Amy Fleming looks at new film Promising Young Women and how well it's been received by critics. Promising Young Women is audacious from the off. A genre-bending revenge thriller, it ricochets between rom-com and horror to radical and unsettling effect. Carey Mulligan plays Cassie, a medical school dropout traumatised by the assault of her best friend. By day, she works in a coffee shop. By night, she fakes blackout drunkenness in bars. If nice guys take advantage, Cassie snaps open her sober eyes to teach them a lesson. The film made history this week, landing 5 Oscar nominations: Picture, Editing and Actress, Mulligan's second run at the award, as well as Original Screenplay and Director for Emerald Fennell. With her debut feature, Fennell has become the first British woman to be nominated for the Director Prize. This is the first year in which 2 women, Fennell and Nomadland's Chloe Zhao, are in the running. They are only the 6th and 7th women to be shortlisted. Question. Look at line 6. Explain the function of this line in the development of the writer's argument. You should make close reference to the passage in your answer. And this is worth 2 marks. So again, pause your video now and time yourself. And give yourself about 3 minutes. That's how long it should take you in the actual exam. Let's have a look at the answer then. The word film links back to the information we are given about the new blockbuster Promising Young Women, which was explored within the previous paragraph. Hopefully you've got something similar. Your next mark comes from the expression Oscars nominations, introduces the idea of the variety of different awards the film has been nominated for, which is explored in the next few lines. So what did you get for this question? If you got full marks, that's really good. If not, can you see when the marks come from? Make a note of anything that you've learned from this answer. Okay, we should be starting to find our rhythm now. Question 3. Context. James Tapper looks at the spate of dog thefts in the UK and why there needs to be the creation of a dog-specific offence. More than 80,000 dog owners say they are more fearful of taking their pet for a walk in daytime, according to a survey launched after a spate of dog theft reports. The survey, by the Police and Crime Commissioner for Sussex, Katie Bourne, had nearly 125,000 responses. Bourne said the huge response showed widespread fear among dog owners about pet theft and a lack of confidence that the crime is taken seriously by police. The question is, look at lines 4 to 5. Explain the function of these lines in the development of the writer's argument. You should make close reference to the passage in your answer. And as this is a 2-mark question, pause the video and time yourself. Again, give yourself around 3 minutes for this question, and then we'll go on to look at the answer. Okay, let's have a look at the answer to question 3. The word survey links back to the information that we learned from a poll taken about whether or not dog walkers feel safe or not, which was explored within the previous paragraph. And that's your first mark. The word responses introduces the idea of the overwhelming fear which is revealed from the poll, explored in the next few lines. Did you get full marks for this question? If you did, that really is brilliant. Well done. If not, can you see where the marks have come from? Make a note of anything you have learned from this answer. Question 4. Context. James Tapper looks at the spate of dog thefts in the UK and why there needs to be the creation of a dog-specific offence. Dog Lost, a charity helping dog theft victims, dealt with 465 cases last year, up from 172 in 2019. Dog theft campaigners say those who are caught are often sentenced to only a fine, and the Pet Theft Reform campaign says that only 1% of dog theft crimes have led to prosecution. As a result, groups such as the Stolen and Missing Pets Alliance have called for pet theft to be made a specific criminal offence, something that 107,940 respondents agreed with. Official sentencing guidelines for theft classify offences according to the value of the stolen property, but judges and magistrates can increase the category for items of sentimental value. However, Bourne said that there is no data showing what sentences dog thieves receive. She is meeting officials at the Home Office this week to discuss the survey. Question. Look at lines 5 to 6. Explain the function of these lines in the development of the writer's argument. You should make close reference to the passage in your answer. And this is worth 2 marks. So again, make sure you pause the video, give yourself around 3 minutes to do it, and then we'll look at the answer. Let's have a look at the answer then. The expression "as a result" links back to the statistics telling us how small the punishment is for dog theft, which is explored within the previous paragraph. That would get you 1 mark. Your next mark comes from the expression "specific criminal offence" introduces the idea of the sentencing, which is applied to dog theft, explored in the next few lines. Did you get full marks for this question? If you did, well done. If not, can you see where the marks have come from? Please make a note of anything that you've learned from this answer. Question 5. Context. James Marlborough looks at the charm of the only pub on the Inner Hebrides, which has come up for sale. Scalasig is a picturesque seaside village on the east coast of the Isle of Colonsay on the Inner Hebrides. The island is so well resourced. It boasts about some of the highest sunshine hours and best white sandy beaches anywhere in Scotland, as well as amenities including a general store, bakery, cafe, bookshop, brewery and oyster farm. So here's the question. Look at line 3. Explain the function of this line in the development of the writer's argument. You should make close reference to the passage in your answer. And this is another 2 marker. So time yourself. Give yourself around 3 minutes and let's go over the answer together once we're ready. Okay. The answer to question 5. The word island links back to the pretty description we are given of Scalasig, which is provided in the previous paragraph. So that's your first mark. The word resourced introduces the idea of the amount of different facilities available on the island, which is explored in the next few lines. So that's your second mark. So you can see that we've linked back, so we've summarised what we've already read, and we've found the word that links forward to the rest of the passage. So what did you get for this question? If you got full marks, that's brilliant. If you didn't, please make sure you understand where the marks come from. And again, make a note of anything you've learned from this answer. Okay, final question then, folks. You're doing really well. Context. Creator of comedy show Taskmaster, Alex Horne is interviewed by The Guardian on why the show has been so popular during lockdown. Before we get to Horne's verdicts on my effort, I decide to butter him up by telling him how much I've been enjoying the show during lockdown. Naturally, he's heard it all before. A lot of people have got in touch and said really nice things like, the programme has saved our lockdown. The amount of messages I get like that and think, God, it feels like the whole country is watching it. And then you get the viewing figures, which are absolutely fine, but it's amazing how many people watch MasterChef and Antiques Roadshow. Why have so many people jumped on the show during lockdown then? It's definitely escapism, and I think it helps that, unlike other panel shows, you want to see it to the end. Each show has a climax. I think you're doing well to turn off, unless you go, well, that's not my thing at all. One of the things that we're really proud of is that every single task is different, even if there are similarities. You never know what's coming next. So, question. Look at line 7. Explain the function of this line in the development of the writer's argument. You should make close reference to the passage in your answer. That's a 2 marker, so again, pause the video now, read the passage through at least once more, and give yourself about 3 or 4 minutes to get this done. Final answer then to question 6. The expression so many people links back to the viewing figures being so large, which is provided in the previous paragraph. The expression during lockdown introduces the idea of the amount of new audience members the show received during lockdown and why it's been so popular, which is explored in the next few lines. So what did you get for this question then? If you got full marks, that's fantastic. If you didn't, can you see where the marks have come from? Because that's really important. Stop and make a note of anything that you've learned from this answer. Plenary. I can now structure my answers in an effective way, which helps me to achieve maximum results. I can highlight keywords and phrases, which helps to identify the link words. I can use bullet points, which help to keep track of how many points I have made. I can keep my answers concise and make my point as quickly as possible. Well done. You've now completed the different link questions. You now understand the best way to structure your answers and how to gain full marks. Fantastic. Next steps. Look at articles from broadsheet newspapers. These can be accessed online. Or you could also get them from your local newsagent. Use a highlighter and look for conjunctives. Can you identify the links between different sentences and paragraphs? If so, that's fantastic. This will really help you to be able to identify the links and help you with the link question in the RUAE element of the exam. Okay, thank you, Miss McVitie.